Hello, singing friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Mickey here, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. Today, all the kids are home because there was like this freak ice storm in New Jersey. And at first they were just gonna do the late opening, but then they canceled school. So if you hear anything in the background, I apologize. Hopefully we're not gonna get interrupted. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction to Black Sabbath, When Death Calls. And Mike writes, after the firing of Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath's creative genius, lead guitarist and music writer Tony Iommi, the son of Sicilian immigrants to the UK, who is generally accredited with having created proper metal, as well as several subgenres like thrash and doom, hired the great Ronnie James Dio as a singer, who was followed by the criminally underrated and relatively obscure Tony Martin. This song features Tony Martin on vocals. Martin has the second longest tenure with Black Sabbath after Ozzy. An interesting side note on the song is that Tony invited his best friend Brian May of Queen to perform the solo, and the solo he came up with was in the style of Black Sabbath, unlike his usual soloing with Queen, which is pretty interesting to hear. This is a lyric video. All right, so there's the background for you. Thank you for the email details, Mike, and let's jump right into it and check it out.
He saw the world dim with the glow of the vertical sun. His skin crept cold, knowing that this was the hours of dying.
So far, it's not really that heavy, which is surprising to me. I really like his voice. I like his dynamics. So especially on that first line, he's swelling into the notes and giving like a little crescendo, like da 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 da, which just gives it so much motion, right? It's just like these waves. Very, very beautiful. And I also really like his vibrato. Very, very healthy sounding, even vibrato. Cool so far.
Misguided mortals, you burn with me. Spirit of man cannot be found. When death calls, this is the house of dying. When death calls, the spirit of man can't be free. When death calls, no tomorrow. When death calls, oh, just an evil shadow.
That was really funny. Just as I finished saying it wasn't that heavy, it was like, "Rah!" Very cool. So one thing that I really like, well, first of all, I wanted to point out that technique of pulsing on a single note, right? He did like, oh, wow, wow, which is a cool way to add some ornamentation. It's almost like vibrato, but it's actually more controlled, right? Vibrato is kind of this like involuntary quaver that happens in your voice when you're very relaxed and you have a very practiced way of singing. That kind of pulsing is very conscious, right? It's a voluntary oscillation in your pitch and in your dynamics. And so it's just like another way of doing a an ornament, but not actually leaving the note, right? I mean, you're staying on the same pitch, but you're scooping a little bit back up into it. And so it does create that oscillation, but with more control than with a vibrato. His belt, his chest voice belt, is very, very strong. And it's funny because there's not 100% agreement on what it means to belt, and what it means to sing in your chest voice. Chest voice obviously is your low voice. And when we think of belting, we think of this like very connected, strong tone. But a lot of times people will sing in a very singery way still when they're singing with their chest voice. And by that, I mean, it's less talky, but he has a very talky affectation in his belt. It sounds like he's shouting, that when death calls is really strong. So I actually really like this type of belting, and I think it requires a lot more muscular actuation than the more singery, almost held back styles of belting. Not that one is better than the other, but this gives it a little bit more like rock intensity. And so when everything comes in and it's like super strong, it matches the intensity of the rest of the song really, really well. So very cool.
Tell me not, fear of the flames means that heaven is closer. For I believe Satan lives in the souls of the dying. Misguided mortals, you burn with me. Spirit of man cannot be
want to pause it there before I know the guitar solo is coming. So a couple things I wanted to point out. One, it's so funny for me to like hear the lyrics, because they're like so over the top dark, like Satan and blister and death. And it's like definitely like just creates this mood, right? It is metal, and it's like all that like dark imagery is so cool. Also, I just wanted to say that this is a really good example of hearing the way that singers modify their vowels in order to have more resonant space when they're singing and really get a lot of power and like a really round resonant sound. So a couple of examples that I wrote down, like he says closer, but he says like closer, rather than closing the R. Also free, that really narrow E vowel, he says more like fray, right? So you're getting a little bit more space. And then heaven, right? So if you really pay attention to the way that pop singers or rock singers sing and pronounce words, you'll notice that sometimes they're altering their vowels and making them a little bit more open so that the sound doesn't get trapped inside, right? You'll also see they open their mouths really wide to get as much resonance as they can. So yeah, I liked that vamp on the end where it repeats that refrain, when death calls, and then you've got all the like background vocals doing more like improvisatory lines. That was very cool and really like hammers that refrain home. So in terms of the guitar solo, I can definitely hear that this was more tailored to a metal type of solo because it was more ostentatiously virtuosic with like a lot of notes and like the high notes and stuff. So definitely matched the spirit of the song really well, I thought. Oh, the other thing that I really like about the singing is that you can hear that he's accenting words that he thinks are important, right? So he's like really popping the words in the lyrics that he wants to stand out rather than making it all like a run-on sentence. And I always tell my students that that's really important, right? Because a lot of filler words like and or but or you or hey, those aren't really providing any meaning to the song. But when you want to pop a word, you're bringing attention to it and saying this is an important word, right? So even like when death calls, he's really popping that death, and that's like the important word. So overall, I thought it was a really amazing vocal performance. I really enjoyed it. I like metal, so I thought it was fun for sure. I was very impressed with the singer's voice, Tony Martin. Very, very cool. And yeah, I thought it was awesome. So thank you for the recommendation, Mike. I hope that you enjoyed my reaction. And I'll see you guys here next time. Next time is also going to be a Black Sabbath song, Heaven and Hell. So stay tuned for that. All right, until then, take care. And of course, happy singing. Bye.